watch his word. Before Jacob was even born, God had already spoke. In Genesis chapter 25, we see that Rebekah has twins in her womb, and the Lord tells her, the older shall serve the younger. So Jacob receiving the blessing was not random. God had already declared something before Jacob ever had strength, before Esau ever hunted, before Isaac ever chose favorites. But by Genesis chapter 27, we see in the text that Rebekah hears Isaac planning to bless Esau. And instead of trusting God to fulfill what he already said, she helps Jacob deceive his father. Jacob puts on Esau's clothes and he covers his hands and neck with goat skin. And he brings food to his father Isaac and pretends to be his brother Esau. And we see in the text that Isaac is deceived and he blesses him. Now family, pay attention. God's word still came to pass, but their method was still wrong. The text shows us that deception takes place, and then later we see the consequences follow. God's promise did not make their deception right. Just because God said that Jacob would receive the blessing does not mean that he was right to lie to get it. And hear me family, this is what the text is trying to show us. Sometimes we believe what God says, but we don't wait for how he said it will come to pass. So we force doors and we manipulate situations. We try to help what God has already spoke. But the text never presents the deception as obedience. And we see in the text that the consequences were real. Jacob had to flee and leave that land. Esau hated Jacob, and Rebekah sent Jacob away. So family, we must be careful. Do not use the Lord's promise as a cover for your disobedience. See, if God said it, he is able to bring it to pass. Christ is the fulfillment of God's promises, and he walked in obedience and not deception. So stop trying to force what God has promised. Trust him enough to obey while you wait. If God has you waiting, do what waiters do and serve. Be faithful, worship, and stay in his presence. Just like Isaiah chapter 60 says, when it is time, the Lord will make it happen.